welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that brutal OST as we have returned with the grand finals of the WTL 2023 Winter KungFu Cup round number 7. We're here with Clem versus Solar. The vetoes are done, the lobbies have been made, and predictions are now open. They are now open. Place your bets in the chat for how you think this series will unfold. How does it all end? Predictions open. Let's go. Spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Hecate, we have the South Korean Zerg player representing Team Onside. It is Solar. And spawning in the top right, we have as opponent, we have the French Terran player representing Team Liquid. It is Clem. Go. The TvZs are upon us, and Solar, he's been going through a lot of pretty high caliber players to get here himself. He went through Shin, he went through Bjorn, he went through Bunny as well. Similar to how Clem was very much so warmed up for Hero, likewise Solar is warmed up for Clem. Solar's been taking down some big name Terran players to make it this far. He took down Bunny and Bjorn. Meanwhile, Clem has been mainly focused on the TvP matchup. Actually heavily reliant on it. Almost exclusively. I was just checking. Clem, we took down Hero, Max Pax, and Firefly. 3 big Protoss players to make it this far. Coffee at the start of the tournament as well in the TVT. So this is his first Zerg player of the night. How will this unfold? So far, Hatchgas pull out of Solar. Clem not going for a low ground 2 racks, like of course Bjorn would. We have a racks expand set up instead. Very standard opener out of Clem. Now Clem, he is one to mix in mech at some point in a best of 5. I wouldn't be surprised if he does whip that out. For now though, I imagine a standard opener, especially to feel out your opponent on a map like Hecate. 3cc before Banshee, I wouldn't be opposed to an opener like that whatsoever. Bearing in mind as well that Solar, he isn't really one to embrace roaches too often. He is willing to open up roaches from time to time, but doesn't rely on it. As opposed to a player like Dark, for example. So a very different kind of ZVT that we're going to be seeing here. So what we're used to. As Clem comes in for an SCV scout, he does confirm the timing of the natural base at least. Reaper comes in. He's going to be dancing with these things, and oh, he will not get one. Oh, just barely. Doesn't get a link. Queen is on the way, and the Queen comes out just in time to fend off the Reaper. Meanwhile, third base is being taken. And Solar is just getting into his opener. Again, hatch gas pull into a third. Queens are rotating around. We're going to be droning, going to be saturating our bases. And Solar is looking pretty here on a 3-base economy, or soon to be 3-base economy. Meanwhile, Clem, I was really curious of what this SCV was for. We're going for a proxy starport? Okay. This is not something that I was expecting, so this could go one of 2 ways. We could... A proxy medevac wouldn't make sense from here. I believe this should be a Liberator. So we're going to be going for Hellions here on the ground, and a Liberator queued up to go into the natural. This could be a medevac, but I feel like a medevac would be proxied here towards the north to drop into the main. So this should be a Lib instead. Meanwhile, back at home we go for the add-on swap, going for Cyclones alongside these Hellions. Let's go. And I'm gonna have to eat my words. This is not a lib. This, sorry, it is. I saw a tech lab on the way, and I thought that we had a tech lab on the starport, which would have been crazy. But it is a Liberator here. So our initial assessment was correct. As we have the Liberator queued in, Cyclones on the way. Oh boy. Clem looking to have a spicy start to this best of 5. And how many queens do we have available? We have 6 queens, soon to be 7. Is that going to be enough? Is Solo going to be able to react in time to keep up with this army? Link speed is done, and Overlord under threat. The Overlord is going to go down. Oh, supply blocking Solar. At the same time he dives in, he does see the 1-1. He sees the missing starport. No starport, no expansion. Something is wrong, something is amiss. The starport is floating back home, and the Liberator goes straight for the natural. Straight for the natural base. Drones are falling. 3 workers already. Overlord goes down. The Queens are getting low. The Cyclones getting out of hand. As the Liberator does reposition. Oh, 1 Queen falls. 2, oh my god, 2 Queens. That's pretty huge, and now Clem is going to have an easier time pushing in. As I say that, the Lings are coming first around, and they do catch some of the Hellions. Big pickup here from Solar. That should not have happened. Clem had a good start, did fumble a little bit, only losing Hellions. At least he kept his Cyclones alive. But the game will settle from here. After all said and done, it was 3 worker kills alongside 3 Queens. I would give the edge to Clem. I do think Clem did trade a little bit better overall. Oh, as he is going to be getting back home, getting into his opener. Delayed 3rd CC. That's something else to bear in mind, is that Clem did open up with a 1-1-1, which meant that he had to do economic damage because of his late 3rd. So, bearing that in mind, I kind of wanted to give the edge to Solar, but Clem, he knows that he's a little bit behind, so he takes his CC. He's going to be landing it on location before he even has an orbit. It is a risky thing to do, but he's going for it. And it will be spotted by Solar. Does get eyes on the 3rd CC. He is aware that it's being taken. Likewise, Solar back at home, getting into 1-1 upgrades. We have a lair on the way. Bailey Nest is done. Bailey speed soon on the horizon. And Solar is going Ling Bane. No roaches. Nah. Not from Solar. This is a little bit premature and quite greedy here. As we start off the Bailey Nest, Hydrogen is already on the way from Solar as well, so being very tech heavy here. Quite greedy as Solar is taking additional gases, saturating his bases, droning up. Journeying up to 73 already, as Clem back at home is getting into the rest of his gases. That's a 2nd factory on the way, so Clem, it doesn't look like he plans on going for a 3-base all-in. Looks like he's going to be working towards a 4th CC momentarily as he pushes across the map. And this is when we have to wonder, we have to question, has Solar been too greedy? He's got plenty of Ling Bane. As long as the mine shots aren't too severe, we should be okay. Up, up, the retargeting. Queens are going to go down. Good connections with those mines. As the Ling Bane is waddling on in, but the target firing is too good. Without Bathing Speed, we cannot connect. Bathing Speed is going to finish up in a couple of seconds, and now we can dive on in. Yeah, we're going to be diving on the army. The mines are not ready. Good target firing once again. Clem is forced to pick up, but that was an efficient trade from Clem. Losing mainly Marines, a couple of Widow Mines. Drop back into the main. And at the same time, here comes a 2nd army towards the right-hand side, towards the 5th. Solar struggling to hold on here. He's on a decent economy. Just have those Hydras as well. Up! Oh my god. Big connections, but we do have detection available. We can clean up these Widow Mines. There's 1 left. 1 ready to go. Solar doesn't want to waste any of his Banelings there. Cleans up the army, holds onto his 5th base, but now we have a secondary force pushing towards the 4th. We have left a couple of Lings in position, but the Banelings aren't ready. Banelings are not ready. Clem, he's gaining ground. He's going for the mineral line. Gets 1. Gets 2 workers. As he picks up, drops into the main. Solar able to force him back for now. We can see that Clem, he's pulling Solar apart, gaining too much momentum. Lurker Den is on the way. Lunkers, they will change things, but every single Queen's going to be going down. Oh my god. Very expensive loss here. 1 Queen survives. And Solo doesn't really have much here to protect his fort. Couple of lings, that's not enough. And it looks like Clem has broken him. He has broken through. He's been trading so damn well. Barely any creep whatsoever. It has become too much. I appreciate the hive that's on the way and the lurker den as well. But I'm getting deja vu to what we saw a couple of days ago. I think it was an ESL Open Cup of Americas, where Solar's refusal to make lurkers here was too much. It looks like Clem, he has broken this 5th base as well. Hydras are coming in, looking quite exposed. Hatchery goes down. And again, Solar, typically he waits until he gets his hive upgrades before he makes any lurkers. Even lair tech lurkers would have helped here just to hold on to these positions. Forcing Clem back. We have another RB coming in. It is becoming too much. So against Marine Mine, Hydras are a good option, but they're a good option just because they lead eventually into lurkers, and we just weren't able to get there. We're trying to hold on though. Can we force some friendly fire? Oh my god, the drag! Oh my god. Massive connection on the Ling Bane. Clem is maxed out at this point. Going for a 5th base behind this. Just a very aggressive style here. And because Clem has so much momentum, even if we had lurkers, now ghosts are on the way. Ghosts are on the way to deal with those lurkers as well. We don't even have any. Just Ling Bane Hydra. Decent connections. But it's just too much. GG gets called, and Clem will take game number 1. GG. GG, well played. Again, this Marine Mine style is very aggressive here from Clem. It's very aggressive. It's very fragile as well. It's very low HP. One wrong move and you can lose everything. Rushing into a Hydra Den, I don't fault Solo for going for it. It is typically a good reaction and a good response. It is typically a good response against Marine Mine, but it's a good response just because you can get into lurkers, and lurkers just shut it down because the Terran player isn't making tanks, is delaying ghost production and not making any medevacs, not making any liberators. Lurkers can completely shut that down. But we can see that even though Solo was taking in that direction, he never had the freedom, he never found the room to actually make any lurkers. So yeah, just was one step behind, wasn't quite able to get there, wasn't able to stabilize, and Clem takes game 1. And we'll see how things differ here in game number 2. I don't expect Clem to play like that every game. It's typically ill-advised to do so. Once or twice in this series, and it was a really solid game 1 here out of Clem. We'll see how he approaches game 2 though, as we're going to be loading into Alkyone. Alkyone, as opposed to what we just saw, this is a much better map to turtle. This is a much better map here if Clem were to go for a more defensive style to get up to 3, 4, 5 bases with a more tank-heavy composition. We'll see if he goes in that direction. We'll see if Solar tries to make use of the gold bases as well. Oh, hold on. There we go. Up on it. So we're getting into that second game. Also, a shout out to all the other casters as well. Plenty of community casters out there. I believe there's Enki casting in Spanish. I believe Comeback TV, TKL is going to be casting in French. Of course, Steadfast and Wardy in English. Rex casting over in his native language as well. I think Mandarin. For the Taiwanese region. And here we go. We're getting into our next game. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the South Korean Zerg player. Representing on side, it is Solar. And spawning in the top right hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the French Terran player representing Team Liquid. It is Clem. Here we go. There's no counterattack whatsoever. I mean, Solar, he didn't really have the breathing room to go for a counterattack. There were some really nasty Widow Mine shots. Really nasty mine shots going off from Clem. And Solar, yeah, just didn't have the room for that. But a big reason for that is also because of the delayed lurkers. You know, once he's able to stabilize, then we can maybe see some counterattacks and some run-bys. Just because of how aggressive Clem was, Solar was just stuck at home. So much of that, and we're going for a very interesting proxy. So we have 1 Rax back at home, 1 across the map. A pseudo proxy 2 Rax here from Clem. Interesting. I mean, technically this is going to be a little bit more aggressive. We'll see if it's able to get damage done. We'll see if he can delay the third base a little bit further. And maybe get a couple of drones. We'll see if this is going to be worth it for Clem. So now, Solar is getting into a hatch gas pool, standard opener. What's important is that this Overlord, because it only sees 1 Rax, this looks like a Rax factory opener. This looks like the special build. So Solar, he may opt to go for the wrong reaction. If he goes into a fast third, then he can be punished. Which I'm sure this is designed to do. There we go, 1 Rax is revealed. Solar, yeah, he goes for the third base. And if he invests too quickly into this, then Clem can punish him for it. As CC is on the way. Drone is going to be pulled over to the right-hand side. Reaper is on the way. And with the revelation of the second Reaper, Solar should be aware of what's going on. There we go. He is going to be making an extra pair of lings. 1 ling already going down. The second ling as well. Uh-oh. Drones are going to be pulled back in time. And Solar, he does delay his expansion here. Makes another queen. Mature reaction out of Solar. As we see Clem checking the third base location, diving into the main, and meeting those queens. And it is only going to be 3 Reapers. That's right, 4. Made 1 extra, 4 Reapers in total. And now we can go for the third. It was delayed, but it had to be delayed. Oh, as the queen is taking a lot of hits. Up. Queen does take a lot of damage. Third base is on the way. And Solar should be able to get this up and running. Again, he delayed it in favor of queen production. Ling speed is about to kick in. And now Solar is looking to chase down those Reapers. And make sure the proxy isn't up and running. Back at home, Clem is transitioning. Interesting transition here. So typically we would be going for a faster tech lab on the on the Rax to get into stim and then combat shields. Instead, Clem goes for a reactor and an add-on swap, which is going to delay stim, delay bioproduction in favor of Hellions for map control. Interesting. So this is going to weaken the stim timing that we otherwise could have had in favor of map control and potentially killing overlords. There we go, we have Hellions to survive a link flood and Cyclones on the way to shut down these overlords. So yeah, an interesting variation. We have seen Cure has been very fond of this. He's been very fond of delaying his bio army and going into Cyclones and Hellions first, even off of a 2 Rax. Speaking of, the Rax is lifted. Overlord is going to go down. Back at home, Solar is getting into his double Evo chambers, getting into his Ling Bane, getting his third base up and running, and Clem is expanding behind this. Of course, he does have to be careful. Remember, he delayed his bioproduction, delayed his stim timing in favor of this marauding force. Trying to keep up with creep, trying to shut down overlords. Because he's being active, he is vulnerable to a surround. But Solar hasn't invested too much. He's still just droning. And they made a handful of lings. He's not really too interested in trying to catch out this army. Now, what this does mean is that is that this is going to lead into actually a more powerful push later on, especially if we keep these Hellions alive, because that is an armor, which means when Clem does move out with his stim timing, he will have Hellbats to support, and this can get out of hand. This can get out of control. So this hits a little bit later, but going to be that much more powerful and that much more potent. Here we go, we're going in! Hellbats are morphed. We're pushing towards the third base. We have no Banelings ready for this. We have Lings and Queens. He's getting ready for a surround. So far, the Queens are falling one after the other. Soon to be only 2 Hellbats left. Now only 1. And they all go down. We can dive on top of the army. Get a surround on these cycles, but the Lings go down. And this is getting out of control. This is becoming far too much. We get on top of the Queens once again. Up. Taking down one final Queen. And that was an insane amount of damage. That was 45 Lings and 7 Queens. 7 Queens went down. That was insane. We have 1 Queen left between all these bases. Sorry, 2 Queens left. Just injecting whatever we can. And that may not have killed Solar, but that did enough damage. That did more than enough damage. As Clem is getting his third base up and running, Solar, he has to rebuild every one of those Queens so we can actually inject and also spread creep as well. Does get away with a 4th. And thankfully, Solar does keep his workers alive. Didn't take any economic damage. As Clem is looking to slow that economy down, going for a medevac drop, a Widowmite drop even, on the right-hand side, pushing over on the left. We'll see what Clem can get done. Again, not too many drones to kill here. No reaction! Oof. A very delayed reaction. We get 6 drones and a Queen. At the same time, a Ling run by here gets a Cyclone at least, but no workers. From here, Clem is getting ahead. Oh my god, getting another Queen as well. You don't want to be a Queen in this game. Not for Solar. Look after your Queens, Spaffy. We've lost 9 Queens already. And the drop is coming back into the third. Oof. We did have detection. Lings are in position. The mines go down. Meanwhile, Clem, he's doubling down on mine production. Getting drilling claws. Clearing up a lot of creep. How many Queens we have? We have 8 Queens. A decent amount for Solar. As he is supply blocked. Clem pushing through the center. Now is not the time to be supply blocked. Solar's in a lot of trouble, and this push may just be it. Solar is unprepared for this. We have a wave of Banelings on the way. 14 Banelings in production, but they're not ready yet. They're not ready. Setting up all those Widow Mines. Decent free spread here as well from Clem. And it looks like Solar, he should have enough. As long as the Widow Mine shots aren't too good. Going for a run by at the same time. Clem likewise rotating around. He wants to apply pressure to the 4th base and to the 5th as well. This is the advantage of Alcyone, and this is why it's that much more easier to establish a 4-base economy. This 4th is so difficult to push into without busting through these rocks. As the rocks will go down. Actually taking a lot of damage. Likewise, a massive secondary army here is pushing in, and Solar, is out of position. There are a couple of Banelings. but only a couple. Oh my god, massive mind shots here on the Link Bane. Solar will force this back for now. Does get some breathing room at the same time Clem is pushing forward, but Solar is in position as both armies have maxed out. Hive is done for Solar. Vipers are on the way. Viper's Lurker Den is done. Now, if Solar can get into Lurkers, then he can slow this down. Oof. Oh my god. So many links get hit. Massive mind shots going up. And Solar will hold. And forcing back both armies. And unlike the previous game, Solar, he's on a 5-base economy. He's at 84 workers. He's maxed out. And Solar, he should be able to stabilize. Clem, he just hasn't been able to be as aggressive. As we mentioned before, specifically on this map, it took that much longer to apply pressure to the 4th and to apply pressure at the 5th. Solar's economy has been looking pretty robust overall, outside of the initial mine drop. Outside of that, at least, he has maintained his economy. And at this point, Clem, I do think he has to transition. I mean, there aren't any lurkers yet, but once they arrive, once they hit the field, I feel like Clem is going to have to switch gears a little bit. Until then, we're pushing forward. Both armies are maxed. Adaptive Talon's on the way. So then we're going to try to rotate towards the 5th base. Decent mine shots. Still going to be too much, and Clem is going to be forced back at the same time, though. Is there enough on the right-hand side? Winter mines are targeted down. And it looks like Clem is actually getting himself with a hatchery. Oh! Yeah, the spread is looking a little bit too good, and Clem is gaining ground. Here come the reinforcements. Clem is barely going to be forced to pick up once again. Solar, his economy untouched. 3-3 on the way. Solar is fighting back in this series. May have a planetary. Clem, he's technically on 5 bases. But Solar is soon going to be able to be aggressive. Like, Solar, he's been defensive for the entire game so far. He went for like 1 Ling run by earlier that killed a Cyclone. But finally, he can't push the Ghost! No! The ghosts are exposed. 3 ghosts go down for free. Did I say 3? I meant to say 5, even 6 ghosts. Oh my god. Every single ghost gets caught. It's a massive catch here. And Solar can now counterattack. He pushes towards the 3rd base. Mine shots. Oh my god. Forcing some friendly fire. Failing draw in as well. And I believe that was a kill, not a cancel on this goal base. It was a kill. Solar, he can back up, he can rotate around, he's remaxing once again. Doesn't even need lurkers. Not anymore. I do think that would help a little bit, but especially after killing so many ghosts, they would help. But for now, just Ling, Bane, Hydra. Big power bomb here on the Medivacs. Good split here from Clem. But the ghosts, they get caught once again. Over and over again, the ghosts, they just keep getting caught out. And the Solar, he has snowballed out of control. He's broken the bases here, broken the economy. These Hydras are on their own, though. Uh-oh. This is not an efficient trade here from Solar. He's beating out so many Hydras. And he may lose everything, actually. Yeah, only 3 Hydras do remain. That was 19 Hydras going down. But he can barely keep pushing. So that was a very expensive trade out of Solar. Just not really what we wanted. But he was trading nonetheless. And Clem, he's struggling to hold on. And here we go, finally, the Lunkers, Papi. The Lunkers are on the way. Can Clem recover from here? I do think drop play is definitely a good option. Mine drop doesn't quite get much. He has a medevac drop here. Does get a kill on a hatchery. Not too bad. Clem's economy is looking quite robust. But the quality of the army is kind of where I'm most concerned. Sneaky up! Oh my god, massive mine shots on the Bailings. Meanwhile, on the right-hand side, here come the Lunkers. This is what I mean. We've been losing too many ghosts, too many liberators as well. Planetary under fire. We're going for the snipes. We're getting one. At the same time, base on left-hand side is going to go down. Oh. As we try to dive on top of these lurkers, we will clean this up. But this was a costly trade from Clem, and he lost the base in the process. He lost a planetary. He may lose another. As Lings flood in. 14 SCVs go down. Clem is still in this. He's sustaining some damage. Quite a lot of damage, actually, but he's holding on. It was an expensive trade for Solo to lose all of his lurkers, and if he had maybe reinforced on the right-hand side instead, he may have been able to keep them alive. There have been a couple of moments here where Solar has been trading a little bit inefficiently. Ace under fire. Lings coming in. Big mine shots. Oh my god. Clem, he is gaining ground. There are no Widowmines left. Can keep on pushing at the same time. Liberator getting 9 drone kills across the map. But we're going for the planetary. Yeah, we're going for the economy. That's going to be a kill on the 5th base. Clem forces this back, but Solar, he has an economy. Clem doesn't. I say that Solar did just lose 11 workers. 11 drones did just go down, and he may just lose his hatchery as well. But if we can engage. Oof. Big mine shots. We get on top of the ghost. We force back the army. This base is going to be attempted to be taken. Lots of long distance mining going on. But Solar, he's just amassing his army, waiting to go in once again. I believe this is the main. I believe the main was floated over. And this is another CC floating over to take the gold. Just how desperate the situation is here for Clem. He's down in army supply. The libs are doing so much there. Oh my god, late game lib harass. Let's go. 15 drones going down. These liberators can be so annoying to deal with. Okay, if Clem goes for mass drop harass, then maybe he can buy enough time to max out himself. We've seen that before. I think we saw that, what was it, yesterday? With Beyond? I think it was Beyond versus Dark. Oh wait, no. It was Beyond versus Solar, actually. Yeah. Here we go. Marines going for a counterattack. The Queens are trying to stand strong. No transfuse! But do we really care? Because Solar is going for a big counterattack as well. The mineral line. There's 32 SCVs. Bailings are rolling in. SCVs are going to be fungled. But they will survive. Oh, and Solar, has he been trading too poorly here? Most SCVs do make it out alive. We're going to be able to resaturate this 5th base. Supplies are evening up. Clem, he's just been trading very efficiently. Again, the constant drop harass, the constant economy harass here on Solar. Clem is making Solar work for it, and if another fight goes his way, he can maybe take it. As I say that, the Hydras, they break on through. They get on top of the libs, one after the other. There's one lib left. And they're all going down. Solar, he's barely breaking through. He's trading well with the army. This time, much better positioning here from Solo. We've seen him overextend in the past. That's a lot of medevacs. A lot of the supply here for Clem is in medevacs. Fungal connects as well. Oh my god, these libs, the freedom Bappy, they're going ham. Clem, he continues to hold on. Good Fungal. SV's long distance mining. Scan reveals lack of hatchery towards the north. Reveals just how close this really is. But technically, Clem can still win a fight and win a game. Here comes another Liberator coming in. We catch it Infester. But we still have to give the edge to Solar. It looks like he's going to be denying this goal base. A good choke point is being made use of here by Clem. But the Lings, they come in from behind. They get a surround. And that's going to be all she wrote. Finally, Clem has bled out. GG gets called, and Solar takes game number 2. Oh my god. GG. Solar, he got a massive lead early, kind of halfway through that game. But Clem, he was fighting back so hard. Almost came back, almost recovered. Almost, but not quite. As Solar was able to close it out, and we have a series. We have a back and forth. GG. GG, well played. Solar was definitely a little bit wasteful at times. There was some really questionable trades for him. I do think he was maybe a little bit overconfident in a couple of those engagements, especially around the middle of that game, which did allow Clem to come back. But Solar was able to stabilize. And again, a map like Alcyone is a lot larger, of course. It meant that this kind of hyper-aggressive biomine style isn't as effective on Alcyone. And Clem tried to do it 2 games in a row, wasn't quite as successful. GG, of course. GG, well played. And Solar ties it up. Getting into game 3. Ooh, sweaty, sweaty, Poppy, sweaty. He's had enough. He's endured too much. Oh, Smurge. Solo not in a better spot. I mean, he had the higher base count, he had the better economy. All he had to do was deny the gold, or deny the gold and the base on the right hand side over and over again. So over time, even though he was trading inefficiently, he could afford to do so. And with that, we're going to be getting ready for game number 3. Good luck, Slowbro, good luck. Wish you the best. Take care, take care. Enjoy your doctor's appointment. As looks like our players need a moment here. I don't blame them. I don't blame them at all for taking a moment to have a break. To take a breath. Take a breath here, as it looks like we have our next game. It's going to be on Site Delta. Oh boy. Site Delta, of course, a map with a lot of bases as well. It's quite a long map. We have seen players struggle quite a lot to defend these fringe locations, the north and southern side of the map at the same time. And I'm curious if Clem can use that to his advantage and try to pull apart Solar, especially in a longer game, if we get that far. If we get there. He wasn't overconfident. He was stepped on by Sweaty Terrence for so long. I know how he feels. True, true. It's less about being overconfident and more about like just wanting the game to end. It's like when he's just pushing in too much, and he may be losing a lot of Hydras, but he's like, just die, Poppy, just die. It did feel like that. It did feel like that, especially when he was pushing at the natural in between the when he was pushing from the 4th base towards the natural, and when he had like almost pure Hydra. We've seen it before. We've seen it before. as we are getting back into this. Just making sure the races are correct. Making sure that everything is looking as it should. We almost loaded into a game with Solar picking Terran, so we're, we're just fixing that. And then we will be good to go. As a reminder, this is a best of 5. Best of 5, not a best of 3, so plenty of games are ahead of us. Plenty of games. We're just waiting for everyone to ready up, and here we go. You can hear the beeps. We're letting in to site Delta. Vámonos. Again, remember earlier when we were starting our finals, I was like, oh yeah, like, you know, we have a cast in like 3.5 hours. We'll be fine. Well, now we're down to like 1 hour and 45 minutes. We're going to be live once again here in 1 hour and 45 minutes with our next broadcast. Oh boy, we could go the distance. I may not have a break in between casts. Oh no, not like this. As we're getting into game number 3 and spawning in the top left hand corner of side Delta, we have the South Korean Zerg player, the red Zerg representing on side. It is Solar. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the French Terran representing Team Liquid. It is Clem. I'm just double checking. Okay. Our next cast, yep, 1 hour and 42 minutes. Ah, let's go. And this series could go for another hour. Easily could go for another hour. Oh boy. I'll do my best. I'll do my best. Do our best here. So far, we have a hatch gas pool from Solar. We hatch into our gas, into our spawning pool, standard opener. Clem, this time, is going for a 2 racks, similar to last game, except this time, the second racks is back at home. Remember, as we wind it back, it was a while ago, but on Alkion, it was a 2 racks opener with a proxy racks. This time, we're going to be opening it up back at home instead. It is going to be easier to scout, though, as the Overlord is making its way across the map, and should get eyes on the natural. And this is just a way to get momentum early on, a way to delay the expansion, and to, of course, get into a bio-heavy composition as well. Of course, Solar very well practiced against this. Plays against Beyond on a regular basis, so shouldn't really be too much of a surprise, too much of a shock. Not to Solar. Light's natural habitat. No sleep, only cast. Ah. I said it before, I would like a little bit of time in between the casts to make some noodles. I would appreciate like having a little bit of food, but outside of that, yeah. Pure casting, but here we go. Reaper gets across the map. Overlord does confirm the opener, does confirm both Raxes. Solo will back off from here. Forcing out quite a lot of lings already here from Solar. One ling does go down, but overall, Solar's able to keep his workers alive. Clem going to be rotating between the bases, just making sure that no third is being taken, as that drone is well hidden for Solar over towards the north. Ooh, as Clem is going to be going straight into a third CC behind this. Oh my, that's insanely fast third CC. Reapers barely will escape, and what I mean by that is that Clem, he went for the third CC before factory and before add-ons as well. So a very greedy transition here from our blue Terran. Of course, Solar being on this pillar, he does see that we are transitioning, so he knows it's not 3 racks. It's not 3 racks mass Reaper. He's aware that only three Reapers were made. He sees them moving back, and Solar will expand. Of course, Clem is also aware of the link speed timing. Link speed just now finishes up, and Clem does make it back home in time And just like what we saw in the previous game, just like what we've been seeing a lot from in Cure, we're going for an add-on swap into Hellions and Cyclones. And again, we're not really too concerned with making too many Marines here, just because we are going for a much faster 3rd CC. So the stim timing isn't as important. Solar's just going to be securing himself here, joining on up, getting his 3rd base up and running. And we are getting into our game. It's fine, it is noodle with pineapple. That's bad for you anyway. Oh, I see that you were lunking in the chat earlier, Bobby. You saw ramen with pineapple. You're an animal. So far, good KDA charges. 1 queen goes down. Oh my god, not enough energy for transfuse. A big pick off here for Clem. Very well done. Behind this, we're getting into a delayed starport, getting into our E-base as well for upgrades. So far, a good start here from our Terran player. Sharking around, looking for another queen if possible. And Solar is getting into his own 1-1 upgrades as well. As we're just easing in towards the mid-game. That Bio Army is banking up quite heavily here. We're just waiting for the medevacs before we can move out. I'm curious if we throw down an armory alongside this again, as if you remember in game 1, we did hit this stim timing with Hellbats as well, but there are only 2 Hellions, so not as much value in rushing into an armory like we otherwise would. And here comes that double drop. Do find an Overlord as the double drop moves out. The delaying run by is getting ready to go in. We could get some SCVs, we could even get a tank. We settle for the 3rd base. And we will get a couple of workers. 3 SCVs go down. Here comes the main push. Once again, the Queen's being targeted. This time we do have transfuse. This time we do keep it alive. Oh, just barely. Some really clutch transfuses coming in, and we go for a full surround, and there is not enough for us to pick everything up. The Cyclones and Reapers will fall. A good cleanup from Solar, and Clem only survives with his Marines. And as it does settle, Solar, he holds on to his 4th. He maintains his worker count. He double expanded. Kept most of his Queens alive, and now 1-1 is kicking in. So far, a really solid defense here from Solar. Behind this, Clem is just getting his 3rd base up and running. 1-1 soon to kick in. Oh, as we are getting up to 8 Raxes. Uh-oh. We have 1 factory behind this as well. Clem looking to be hyper aggressive here as he's working towards his add-ons. And he hasn't really shown his final form yet. We're just building up the tank count back at home and Marines. And eventually we are going to push, and it's going to hit like a truck. Oh. Okay, there we go. 4th CC. I was waiting for either another factory or a 4th CC, but there it is. It's on the way. Clem is not going all in. Is going for a split push. As we have a double drop on the left, a double drop on the right. He's being forced back. At the same time, we do have another drop towards the north, but again, Solar, he's in position. Good target fire. Oh my god. Really good target firing out of Clem. Getting, what, 3, 4 Bailings. Good trade overall, as here comes the main push. This is what we've been waiting for. 1-1 is done. Tanks are moving out. Clem is still trying to distract Solar here on the right-hand side, while he moves in with his main army. 5 tanks in total. Solar, is he ready for this? And he may have to go with the base. Oh! As he collapses on the army, he gets 1 tank. Not enough Marines here. The tank's looking exposed. 2 tanks will fall. At the same time, Clem tried to push in towards the north, but didn't quite make it. And Solar is holding. At the same time, though, Clem is gaining ground. His tank count wasn't reset. He only lost 2. We have 3 left. And Clem can keep on pushing. But did unsiege for a moment, which means we can get on top of the tanks. Both of them, all 3 of them will go down. Good trade from Solar, but at the same time, Clem, he has a decent marine army. He's pushing in. And Solar, he may not have enough. Up! Oh my god, we barely do connect. The Banelings, they shut down the army. And Solar holds. Fairly fast. He's going to be able to hold on for now. Meanwhile, Clem, he backs off. Now he's going to be establishing his 4th base, transitioning into winter mines, out of tanks. Tanks that are going to be set up defensively. And Clem is going to keep on pushing, actually just rotating his tanks towards the right-hand side. How many mines do we have? We only have 1. We're still getting into winter mine production. Still not quite there. The tanks, they do cancel a base. Very limited creep threat here towards the south. Clem, he has map control. Solar could try to go for a run by, but we have a couple of Marines in position. Here we go, we're coming in from behind. Good blinding cloud, and Solar, he collapses on this army. Tanks are going to be going down. No widow mines. We're actually still making tanks. Despite getting drilling claws. Oh, the first mine. Decent connection, but we keep on pushing. 4th base is going to go down, and Solar is snowballing out of control. After killing the base, he gets 2 CCs. He gets 2 bases and 14 SCVs. And Clem is on the back foot. He still has a decent bio army. He has a comparable army size to his opponent. But the economy, down to 3 bases. There's no backup 4th CC. No more tanks. Now we're getting into widow mines. And tanks at the same time. And we're trying to bait out those shots, and we do. Widow mine shots, they baited out. We dive on top of the army once again. Get another tank. And there's just too much Zerg. Solar is snowballing out of control. Up. And there's nothing left. GG gets called. Solar will take game number 3 and take a lead in this series. GG. GG, well played. That was pretty close, but I mean, for a while it was very back and forth. But what I will say is that it was really interesting to see Clem again getting into really fast drilling claws, but not really investing too heavily into widow mines at all. Especially with his push, I do think he would have had time to actually kind of diversify his splash damage a little bit. He was caught out in the open, maybe overextended a little bit, maybe was just too premature with his army. Up until that point, things were quite close supply-wise between the 2 players, but as soon as Clem lost that fight, things snowballed very quickly out of control. He lost the fight, that led into him losing his 4th and his 5th and his mineral line as well. You know, the dominoes, they started to fall one after the other after one bad fight, and that's StarCraft for you. Sometimes one bad fight can be the end of the game, even when you're on 4 bases. And GG, well played. Solar, he needs one more, una más, to take the series. Clem needs to win this game here and now to force the ace match. The pressure is on Clem. He needs to keep this going. Likewise, Solar just needs one more. One more. No shot. Ramen with pineapple is a thing apparently. No shot. No shot. What are you on about? I need to see this. Vegetarian pineapple shio ramen. No. Oh my god. Crazy. Spawning in the bottom left hand corner of Solaris, we have the South Korean Zerg player for onside. It is Solar. And spawning in the top right, we have his opponent. We have the French Terran down in the series. Needs to fight back here and now. It is Clem for Team Liquid. Why is there a Crunchyroll article about this from 2018? What? I didn't even know Crunchyroll had articles. Ay, ay, ay. Oh, it's like an anime thing. Okay, hold on. Okay, we need to focus on the game. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah. I found it as well. Abomination, baby, abomination. And for now, as we do settle into our next game, so far, pretty standard openers. These past couple of games, Clem has been very aggressive with a 2 racks on the low ground or even a proxy as well in the previous game, in game number 2. Here we have a racks expand, very standard setup here by Clem. From here we can go into a faster OTC, we can go into a 1-1-1. Clem has a lot of options, this build is very flexible. We'll see what he goes for. Across the map, Solar getting into a hatch gas pool. I'm sure Solar's going to be a lot more comfortable getting into a standard third base timing for the first time this series. It's happening. Third base is on the way. And there's no Mass Reaper. No Mass Reaper. Solar is opening up very safely though. He made a wave of 6 lings instead of 4. So maybe a little bit scarred as to what's been happening so far this series. 1 ling does go down. A bit of a dark defense, if you will. Behind this, Solar gets his third base up and running. Going to be joining, getting his queens, and getting secure. Behind this, it's going to be a 3cc before Starport opener here by Clem. Very economic. We should be seeing our Starport momentarily as well. Oh my, this, I don't know, I can't explain this. This feels so refreshing. It's like, oh, wait, we're going back to basics, Papi. I love it so much. No, we've been trying to be fancy with all these Mass Reaper openers and with mixed success. I do agree with this as well. I'm not too fond of seeing, you know, either Clem or Hero Marine or some of these other players go into Reaper play against players like Dark and Solar, just because they're so well practiced. Because they play against Beyond like on a daily basis. Like they're so well prepared against that sort of thing. And it's so difficult to really get damage done. It's so difficult to delay the third base as long as they would like to, as long as maybe they do against some of the other Zerg players that are maybe a little bit less practiced against it. And oh my god, Solar, he's rushing into a lair. This is an insanely, this is what, like a 3-minute 30 lair timing? Oh my god. I just realized, and with this, we could even go into a Link Queen Nidus all in, which would be amazing against a 3cc opener. Queen production is commencing, is continuing even, Lings are on the way. There it is, Link Queen Nidus all in, as the Nidus is thrown down. This is designed, I say designed, this is ideal against really economic greedy openers like this. Obviously, Cloak Banshees could pose an issue to the Queens, especially if there's no detection, but we have an Overlord coming in, soon to be an Overseer. Marines are getting in position. Clem, he has been Link Queen Knight installed in so many times by Dark. He's going to be ready for it. Hopefully. Link's coming in from the right-hand side. Where is the Knight going to be thrown down? Looks like we're going for the main base, but there are Marines in position. At the same time, Hellions going to be pushing towards the center. Trying to keep up with... Oh no! Trying to keep up with the Queens. There are Marines, yes, but they get surrounded. The wall was not a wall. Lings, they flood into the main base. Boys are being pulled, and this Nidus is going to finish. Ay, ay, ay. Not like this. Lings are popping out. Queens as well. Transfuse keeps the Nidus alive. We have detection. Banshee goes down. And is this how it all ends? With it all in? It looks like it is, because that's 24 SCVs. Lings coming from behind. GG gets called, and Solar will take the series 3-1, becoming this week's KungFu Cup champion. GG. Oh my oh my god. GG, well played. Clem was ready for it. He had his Marines in position. He was anticipating something weird going on. But the wall wasn't a wall. The Hellions moved out. The Lynx came in. And they came in just in time to protect that Nidus to allow it to finish, shutting down those Marines. GG. GG, well played. Oh my god. I was about to go into like a mini rant saying like, mate, Clem, he's died to this so many times. He's ready for it. You know, he's more than prepared for the... For those wondering, if you ever tune into Dark versus Clem, Dark, he's done this so many times against Clem over the course of this year. At least once in a series whenever they face off, and it usually works. It does usually work, especially in the previous map pool. Maps like Gresswan, for example, Ancient Cistern. And yeah, Solar able to pull it off, able to punish, and just like that, GG, that is the end of the series. That is Solar becoming our champion this week. Congratulations. Congratulations. Oh my god. Again, it was back and forth, and there were moments where Clem was looking strong. Game one was dominance. Let's be real here. When Clem won his game against Solar, like, it was a strong showing from Clem, just hyper aggression. It was on Golden Aura, if you recall. It was quite some time ago now, but it was on Golden Aura. From then, though, we saw Solar was able to stabilize, was able to keep up with the tempo that Clem was attempting to place even, and yeah, he was able to keep pace, and GG. GG, well played. Congratulations to Solar for becoming this week's champion. My condolences, but a big shout out to Clem as well for making it this far, for making a series out of it, and hey, he took down some big names, you know. Clem, he may have struggled against Solar, but he took down Hero, Maxpax, and was it Skillus? It was Hero, Maxpax, and Firefly, that's it. Clem really flexing his TVP, killing the best Protoss in the world without dropping a map. He didn't drop a single map this tournament until the finals. So, yeah, really impressive run nonetheless from Clem. And, yeah, congratulations to Solar with that. That is going to be the end of our tournament for the time being. And it means that I can make some ramen. Let's go. We have a little bit of time. We have an hour and 20 minutes until our next broadcast. We have another broadcast in an hour and 20 minutes. We're going to be covering the House Open Cup. You must have heard of it from now. We have casted it many times before, but it is a bi-weekly Polish tournament. It's a Polish-only tournament. We feature players like Mana, Laser, Spirit, the best of the best in Poland, and we're going to be live again on this channel in an hour and 20 minutes. So take this moment to get some food, get some water, take a break, get some rest, maybe support another streamer as well, and yeah, we'll be back shortly with some more StarCraft. It doesn't end, Papi. The StarCraft does not end. Oh my god. It's brutal, Papi. It's brutal. So yeah, thankfully we have a little bit of time so I can get ready for that. I'm probably going to be making some tea as well, getting some tea, and just stretching, walking around the house, making sure that I'm awake, that I'm ready for some more StarCraft. Let's go. Alright, let's go. Do people outside of NA eat maple syrup? Love that stuff. Sure, I guess. On like pancakes? Yeah. I'll be honest, I haven't had maple syrup in years. But I also don't really eat much pancakes, so that's my reasoning for it. That's my reasoning for it. It's not bad. Now I want pancakes. I want pancakes. Smooch, man. Smooch. Regardless, yeah, thank you so much. Maple syrup ramen? No shot. Crazy. But I hope everyone enjoyed themselves. Hope everyone had a great time here. If you enjoyed the tournaments, then come back next week. You know, every single week we have the WTL KungFu Cup. I say every week for the next 4 weeks. For those wondering, this event typically coincides with World Team League. That's why it has WTL at the start. By the time WTL wraps up, the World Team League season wraps up, that also wraps up the season of KungFu Cup as well. So this is a seasonal weekly event, and once the season ends, then the weeklies will end as well. So bear that in mind. We only have a couple of weeks remaining here of the KungFu Cup, which is a shame, which is a bit of a shame. It's a great tournament, but 4 weeks left. I believe 11 weeks in total. 11 in total. And then we end up with the playoffs of World Team League. So tune in while you can. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're going to be giving another StarCraft streamer a raid. Give them some love. Give them some support. If you want to support us, !socials. Socials in the chat. And you can get a link to our Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Discord. Shout out to the people that were tuning in on YouTube as well. We are dual streaming. And as that is now allowed. That was now allowed by Twitch. Thankfully. No. And yeah, with that, we appreciate it. We appreciate the support. We'll see you guys in a couple of hours for some more StarCraft. So until then, take care, enjoy yourselves, and get some rest. Hydrate. Stretch your urges, massage your marines, tuck in your tempest. Hasta luego. Bye-bye.